Chapter 9. Imagine being locked upside down inside a vertical coffin, the whole inside coated in sticky grime. Nasty feeling, right? Well, the inside of a T-Rex's stomach was exactly like that. Only hotter and way more stinking. The vampire had been caught right in front of his house at the end of a lucky night of hunting. The T-Rex had stayed dead still between the shadows and the brush, blending into the darkness that comes right before dawn. By the time it moved, it was already too late. A few steps, a sudden lunge. A massive weight slammed into him like a speeding bus. The breath was ripped right out of his lungs. When he finally snapped out of the initial shock, he couldn't believe he was still in one piece. The T-Rex had swallowed him in a single gulp, like a Tylenol pill. The reason? To let him witness the slow, corrosive digestion of his own body. After all, he had it coming. At least that's what the T-Rex thought. It wasn't too harsh a payback for the guy who'd whacked its creator. Dead man walking or not, the vampire decided to at least take a shot at making it out alive. He bit into the stomach wall holding him and ripped out a semicircle of flesh. The taste was god-awful. Bah, gross! The T-Rex, eyes bulging and spit leaking from its jaws, started thrashing around like a harpooned fish. The vampire bit off another hunk of meat, then another and another. It was like he was digging a tunnel with his own damn teeth. Endless minutes ticked by while the T-Rex kept flailing. It had massive internal bleeding and was in pretty bad shape. The vampire kept digging with his teeth. He bit into a piece of liver, tasted like rusty nails. He pictured himself back in the kitchen where Boris kept the supplies. He imagined grabbing a jar of honey and pouring the whole thing over that stinking, sticky mass. It was a mental hustle, just a way to trick his taste buds. It wasn't long before the T-Rex started wheezing, shaking like a bowl of jello. Its whole body was seized by convulsions. The vampire ripped off another shred of meat, one of many. He wondered if he'd ever manage to swallow that whole monstrous serving. The T-Rex fell backward, twisting before hitting the ground with a thud. Moments later, it rolled onto its side and croaked. Finally, the vampire finished the tunnel. But something was blocking the exit, something lying on the ground. He shoved hard until he opened a gap wide enough to squeeze through. That's when he saw Boris. He must have fainted from pure terror. Little pussy, the vampire thought. Then he turned back toward the T-Rex. He saw it on the ground, motionless, steaming guts out in the open, eyes wide and staring, legs deformed by fire. Remember the explosion that leveled Professor Olb's lab? The hatchling had survived the fire. "God damn," the vampire said. "Gotta admit, you've grown since the last time I saw you." Then he hauled ass home, jumped in the shower, and washed off the blood and the dinosaur scraps.